Okay, uh, I was asked a question yesterday. Uh, how did I come to Greenwood? Uh, that's a good question. Okay, Lord, help me not to ramble, but stick to the points. In 1990s, I lived in a cabin in the woods above Rock Creek, quite surrounded by the forest, and very much there was no one else around. Um, One day I came out about 1999. I've been thinking of leaving. Is it time to go? I've been here 10 years. And uh, One day I was outside by the wood cutting table and I looked at the house, and it was not a vision. It was not something I actually saw. But in my imagination or mind or something, I sort of saw the house just not crumble, but just fold up. One wall kind of just fell apart, and the whole house just folded up. And that was that. It was a flash of a moment. And I didn't see anything. I imagined it. But what a strange thing to imagine, your house folding up. But I thought about it, and I thought, well, maybe it's time to do that. Maybe it's time to move on. So I decided to sell the house, and I did. I had 3 people come look at it, and the third one, I wanted 50,000 for it. I had paid 19.5 10 years earlier, and it was 26 acres that went with it as well. And I sold 5 acres for 10,000 and dispersed the money elsewhere. And I still had 21 acres left, and this person came and said, I'll buy the house and the 21 acres. What do you want for it? And I said, well, I was supposed to ask 50,000, but so many people told me, no, ask way more, ask 100,000, easy. And I thought, no, I only paid 19.5 for it. I don't want to be greedy. I think 50,000 is a pretty good investment in 9 years. So I asked for, I did up it. I said, I'd like 55. Well, my thinking was, if I got 55, I'll give 5 away. And if not, I'll go down to 50. And she accepted immediately. 55 was fine. And she bought it, and that was that. It folded up real quick. I went to Oliver, BC, and I bought a school bus. And I brought it home, took all the seats out, and kind of made it livable. I had a bed, and actually I had a bunk bed in there, and it was no good in the top bunk, because when you got up without thinking, you hit your head in the ceiling. That didn't go very well. Anyway, I had a bus, and I had a wood stove in it now. I put that in, and I took most of the seats out, but I think I had a cabinet in there, and it was okay. So I left in the end of September 1999, and I was going to go to the Kootenays. I was going to be an evangelist in the bus. um, I was sure not ready for that one, but I was going anyway. So I left, and I got 2 miles down the road. It was a very empty road, hardly anybody ever on it. Dead ended at my house, 3 miles to the highway. And I drove down 2 miles, and someone from Saskatchewan had a cabin in Rock Creek at the 2 mile mark, and she said, we're not going to be here for the winter, and if you want to stay here, you're welcome. So I thought, okay, so I stayed there. So off I went on this massive trip, and I only went 2 hours, and I went into this house, stayed there until the springtime. In the springtime, someone phoned me from a ranch that she owned, and she was selling it. And this road was remote also. It had two ranches on it, one by the highway, and then down the road some came to my ranch where I was going to stay. Again, it was pretty isolated. I said, sure, I'll do that. I moved in, and I took care of the ranch for a year and a half, I suppose. About a year in, bit more, May, early June, I was walking on the road. I used to walk every day on the road, and I walked over a cattle guard, or a Texas gate, is what they call it in Texas, and I couldn't walk over it. My legs were wobbly, and I couldn't walk over it. I'd fall through the pipes, and that wouldn't do, so I didn't. And I thought, oh, this is bad. Maybe I should get a house. Maybe I should get a place to stay. And right at that minute, there was maybe two cars a day went by, maybe. And right then, this car came by. It was a real estate man with two ranchers looking for a ranch. And because he was a real estate man, I said, well, can you get a cheap place in Greenwood for like $20,000 for a trailer? Of that $50,000 I had, I dispersed most of it. Well, not most of it, but a good chunk of it. I had $37,500 left, exactly. But I lowballed, so I had room, and I said, can I get a trailer in Greenwood for $20,000? And he said, if you got $20,000, you'll have no trouble getting a trailer in Greenwood. Oh, I didn't know that. So the next day or two or three later, I went to Greenwood, and I went to a real estate office, the only one that was here. And I looked in the window, and there were three houses that sort of interested me because they were all $69,900. And that's a long way from $37,500, but that's what was there. But it was a funny day. It was a cloudy day. It was overcast. My spirits were not great, and there's no one in the office. And, everything was kind of down. And what do I do now? And about a few hours went by, and the real estate lady showed up. She said to me, oh, you want to buy a place and you only have 30, I didn't tell her I had 37,500. I said I had 35,000. I didn't tell her I had 37,500. I told her I had 35,000 because I wanted some room to fix up any house I got and so on. And she said, oh, if you have 35,000, don't you be shy to offer that on any house there, meaning the 69,900 houses. I went, really? You can put $35,000 offer on a $69,000 house? She said, don't be shy at all about it. Oh, okay. I didn't know that either. So I went there a day or two later, and she took me around town, and we looked at three houses that I was interested in. First one was a really bad house. It was not a fixer-upper, it was a tear-me-downer. And the second house was built in 1905, and it was kind of a nice house. The basement had a half a basement. It had a cement all around and a nice new furnace. But the other half of the house was, all it was dirt underneath the floor. It wasn't even a crawl space. It was just dirt under the house. And I thought, no, I don't know, that's mice. Mice will come in there and then they'll end up in the house. And nah, I don't think so. Went to the third house, which is where I'm living now, and I looked underneath the house first, and it was just a crawl space, about 3 feet, but it was all cement all the way around. And I thought, oh, good, no rodents going to come in this house. So I'm back to the office, and she said, we'll put an offer in for it. Okay. So they put an offer in, and they said 69, but they came down 57.7 or something like that. And I thought, well, I can put an offer down, but if I offer 35, then I got no room. They're going to come back with a lesser number, and then I'm supposed to meet them somewhere, and I got nowhere to go. So I offered 32,500, and they had a week to respond. And a week they responded, and they said, well, 49. We'll sell it for 49. I went, oh, that's a long way down from 69 to 49, but it's still way above what I got. So I went up to my full 35, and I offered the 35. And another week went by, and they came back with an offer of 39. Oh, wow, that's so close. I'm at 35, and they're at 39 for a house that's only 20 years old. Oh my. I can't let this go. I gotta tap into that little extra $250 I got. So I put an offer in for. I was going to go. I went up 250 the first time. I'll go up 125 the second time, or 1,125 the second time. So I put an offer in for 36,250. That was my offer anyway, and I had to wait a week. And Thursday night, I was back at the ranch, and Thursday night before the Friday, I was in anguish. I mean, the ranch had sold too, and the ranch you had to be out in a pretty short time. But, well, if I don't get the house, where am I going to go? Oh, I was not in the best of spirits, and I called out to God. I said, "Your word says, ask anything in my name, and it shall be done for you. And Lord, I'm asking you, I'm asking you for this house. Oh Lord!" And I got down I lay down, face to the ground, and I pounded the floor. I was some upset. If your word is not true, then it's no good at all. What's the point of reading the word if it's no good? And you said that I would ask anything in your name, it would be mine. Consider it done. Oh, no. Next morning, Friday, I was on the internet, and it was dial-up at the time, and I was playing cribbage with a woman from Lethbridge, which we often did in the morning sometimes. And I remember telling her, I'm really strange, I have this incredible peace over me. I told her so many times, I have this incredible peace. I couldn't understand it, but I kept saying it because I did have it. And we played till, I don't know, 11 o'clock or something like that. And at 11 o'clock, I disconnected from the internet, which freed my phone up right away. And as soon as I disconnected, the phone rang. And all the person on the other end said was, "Congratulations, you just got yourself a house for $36,250. And that's how it came to Greenwood.